Hi, this is Ryan with Front End Audio, and today I want to give you a first look, kind of quick overview of the new Digidesign 11 rack. If you know anything about the 11 series of plugins, you know that they're highly versatile amp and simulator, stomp box simulators that can give you just pretty much any kind of sound that you want out of your guitars in the modern recording environment. And this is really no different. This is a lot more versatile, and this does a lot of things. It's not only a preamp and processor unit, it is also a digital interface which works with Pro Tools. It actually comes with a copy of LE8 currently, and you can do up to 3 simultaneous tracks of recording via USB, and it's just got a whole lot of features. It's amazing. Going over the face of the unit real quick, it is worth noting that this device is meant for use both in live sound and studio use, so it's a very rugged box to be able to handle the live sound environment, and it's reflected within the controls here. You have, first and foremost, your on-off switch, hefty toggle switch. You can really hear it and feel it when you switch it on and off, and no worries there. You have your main volume right here, there where you can control the output, and you can see the value coming up here. You have your edit and your save buttons, so if you don't have it hooked up to your computer for the software editor, you can actually edit all your presets and everything right on the face of this unit. And I come from a time where with my MIDI modules, everything before the software editor you had to do on the face of the unit. I found it easy to navigate. I don't see why anybody who hasn't had that experience would have trouble doing so, because everything's well laid out in front of you. You have all your control parameters here for changing settings within your layers. So if you're currently looking at, say, using a tweed amp head, you can adjust your volume, your gain, your EQ, things like that. Currently, on default, it is set up for your EQ bands and your volume outputs to both output 1 and 2. You can drive 2 amps at once with this, which is a really cool feature. And then you have basically your editing menus right here and effects. You can scroll right through here, and it's just as simple as that. Make a change, program's loaded. Now obviously you can hook up a MIDI controllable foot switch to this, which is what you will want to use in a live sound situation or any situation where you are actually switching from program to program quickly. This is really just to get to that preset you want and let it load. Now from here over, you have basically your effects. You have your distortion channel here, you have your modulation channel, your delay, reverb, and your effects loops. You also have a tuner bypass here, and it's also a tap tempo. So if you're not quite sure what the tempo of the song is, you can literally just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now it's set. So all your time-based effects, delays, flangers, things like that, is going to be in tempo with your songs. And it's fairly simple. Right now, the current program that I have doesn't have a distortion patch on here, but if you wanted to add distortion or overdrive, simply cut it on, and then you can tweak that parameter and build off of a preset. You do have a mic preamp here. It has a pad, and it has your phantom power with your input and your trim. And that's getting into the interface side of things, so we'll talk about that a little later. You have your headphone output. So when I brought this home, that's what I did. I plugged my guitar in to the input right here and plugged in some headphones and just kind of sampled the presets first and foremost. You do have your output here, which goes to the input of your amp or directly into your interface, depending on whether you're using this with a guitar rig or whether you're just using it as an effects processor for direct recording. It is also worthy to note that this is a true Z input, and it is right on par with the input on the front of your amps, so there's no degradation of signal or quality there. You're getting a good, clean, true instrument level sound from your pickups all the way into your speakers. So let's turn it around and check out some of the back features for the preamp. Now on the back of the unit, you basically have your complete I/O interface here. We're going to mainly focus right here on the guitar stuff. You have your effects send and return. Now, of course, if you're going guitar in and then out of your output 1 into the face, that's where you're going to get, your distortions, your EQs, your speaker and mic modeling aspects of the effect. And if you want to send your reverbs, delays, flangers, things like that out of here into your amps effect send and then back in, and that will give you the opportunity to split your wet dry signal so that you have a much more natural tone, which is very common with all effects processors these days. The cool feature about this is you have a switch here for rack effects or stomp boxes. So if you want to send just the rack effects to your effects send and return, then you do engage the switch. If you want to do your stomp boxes, you engage it for your stomp boxes. So if you have a flanger stomp box that you have in your sound chain in the modeling section of the effects unit, then you'll be sending the flanger out while your overdrive and everything else is going right to the amp. You have your main outputs here, and you can actually go to a mixer board or a PA system if you're using this in a live situation. Therefore, you don't need an amp. Or you can go into your interface for that. And you have a ground lift there in case there is any issues with unnecessary hum and interference from gear, lighting in the room or on stage. And then you have your line inputs. This is really getting into the interface aspect of it, as you can take a drum mix maybe off of an electronic drum set or a keyboard and record. But you can also use this as a part of your reamping capabilities of this box. If you've already cut a guitar track dry to Pro Tools and you want to then model the type of amp sounds that is going to work best for that song, you can then come out at line level right into here and process that signal to get the guitar tone that you want, and then go right back into Pro Tools. Here you have your output for your second amp. So you can, like I say, you can drive 2 amps at once and get a really big sound. So if you're a 4-piece band, you're the only guitarist, you're on stage, you want a huge guitar sound, amp on the right, amp on the left, this is driving both of those amps. And I mean, what's better than having more than 1 amp? You have your MIDI input and output and throughput right here for your control pedals. Being able to switch up programs and have basically your programs and your whole layout presets ready to go for a live performance. And then you have an input right here for an expression pedal for volume swells, pitch shifts, wahs, anything of that nature. And right here in this section you have your digital I/O. You have your AES EBU in and out. You also have a SPDIF in and out for digital interface to, your Digi00 rack. You also have your main output, which is USB, which is how this primarily functions as a standalone interface. You're able to record 3 simultaneous tracks via USB, or you have the ability to interface in different aspects with your digital I/Os here. So this is a highly sophisticated and versatile piece of gear with great sounds, and I think that it would do justice for any guitar player out there, even the most discerning guitarist out there, that needs an all-in-one solution. And there's not enough good things as far as all the solutions and all the flexibility that this gives that I can say about it. So for more information on the Digidesign 11 rack and for all your pro audio needs, check us out on the web at www.frontendaudio.com. Thank you.